A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alysher Ravi, and today I'll be presenting my business interview analysis for the subject Business, Society, and Sustainability. This presentation compares how managers in a for-profit organization at Bukit Kanim Golf Center and a non-profit organization which I've chosen Leo Club at Inti, how they manage stakeholder expectations, tensions, and social responsibilities. To analyze both organizations, I've applied several key theories including stakeholder theory, CSR and corporate citizenship, stakeholder salience, and institutional theory. My goal was basically to understand how stakeholder prioritizers differ between a market-driven business and a mission-driven community organization. Now, both interviewees asked the same four guiding questions. Firstly, who are your key stakeholders? What are their priorities? What stakeholder tensions do you face and how do you manage them? And does your organization have responsibility towards societal issues? All these questions have helped uncover both operational realities and strategic behaviors through a stakeholder lens. Now, starting with Bukit Kemuning Golf Center, the key stakeholders include customers, employees, suppliers, owners and investors, and the local municipal council. These are all typical market-driven operational stakeholders with a strong economic influence. In contrast, the Leo Club here prioritizes members, volunteers, donors, and sponsors, partner schools, and the broader community. These stakeholders reflect the club's mission-driven, community-oriented identity. To justify the prominence of stakeholders, I used the stakeholder salience model by Mitchell, Engel, and Wood. All these stakeholders are prioritized based on power, legitimacy, and urgency. For the Golf Club Center, customers and owners hold high power and urgency, making them dominant stakeholders. For the Leo Club, members and volunteers have high legitimacy because they directly fulfill the organization's purpose. Now, this explains why each organization treats its stakeholders differently. Next, we will look at priorities of each stakeholder group. For the Golf Club Center, customers would want high-quality facilities at reasonable prices, employees would want fast scheduling and recognition, suppliers would expect consistent orders and timely payments, owners would focus on organization's profitability, and the local council would emphasize on compliance and environmental standards. All these priorities align with Carroll's CSR pyramid, where economic responsibilities dominate for in-profit settings, followed by legal, ethical, and philanthropic dimension. Now, as for Leo Club, members would prioritize leadership development and inclusion, volunteers would need manageable workload and appreciation, sponsors would expect visibility and transparency, schools will look for consistent project delivery, and the community expects tangible social benefits. These relationships reflect social exchange theory, where mutual benefit and positive reciprocity sustain long-term collaboration. Overall, the Golf Center prioritizes economic and service outcomes, while Leo Club prioritizes social impact and community value. Now, in the Golf Club Center, there are several tensions which arise. Firstly, customers versus owners. Customers would want high-quality services, but owners would want to reduce maintenance costs, which creates a price versus quality conflict. Second, employees versus customers. During peak season, staff would experience fatigue while customers still expect fast, flawless service. Third, suppliers versus owners. When suppliers' costs increase, owners would resist on raising budgets, creating pressure in procurement. Fourth, local council versus owners. The council enforces environmental and licensing standards, while owner prefers minimal compliance to reduce costs. All these tensions can be explained using the institutional theory, where the council represents coercive pressure, and industry norms and customer expectation represents normative pressure. Management strategies here include balancing the pricing, shifting rotations, negotiating with suppliers, and meeting minimum compliance to avoid penalties. Now, for Leo Club, all these tensions are different because they relate to social expectations rather than financial ones. Firstly, volunteers versus community beneficiaries. The community requests frequent projects, but volunteer experience burnout, which reflects the limited manpower versus rising expectations. Second is schools versus volunteers. Schools would want consistent workshops, but volunteer availability is inconsistent. Third is sponsors versus members. Sponsors would want high visibility while members prefer autonomy and meaningful project design, which creates a branding versus empowerment conflict. Fourth could be member ambitions versus the club budget. Members would often propose big events, however, the funding cannot really support them. All these tensions relate to normative institutional pressures where the community and educational partners shape what the organization should do. In addition, the issue of member ambitions aligns with mission drift theory, where excessive expectation can push a non-profit beyond its realistic capacity. Tensions are manageable through volunteer rotation, clearer sponsor negotiation, and resource-based project planning, and as well as focusing on smaller but high-impact initiatives. Now, after interviewing both managers, they have agreed that organizations should always contribute to societal issues, but their motivations, however, differ. For the Golf Club Center, manager adopts a strategic CSR approach. Activities such as eco-friendly cost maintenance, water conservation, and charity tournaments would help maintain legitimacy with customers, the council, and the community. All this aligns with legitimacy theory and institutional theory, where organizations act in social accepted ways to maintain public approval. On the other hand, the Leo Club president sees societal responsibility as essential to the club's mission. Their projects focus more on environmental awareness, mental health, youth empowerment, and the community welfare. This strongly reflects the triple bottom line, where it balances social, environmental, and even limited economic outcomes. In conclusion, the stakeholder landscape between a for-profit and a non-profit organization is fundamentally different. The Golf Club Center here focuses on economic value, leading to tensions around cost, quality, and compliances. And Leo Club here focuses on social value, leading to the pressures around volunteer capacity, donor expectation, and community needs. Now, both managers actively balance competing stakeholder interests using communication, negotiation, and prioritization. And this analysis here supports key theoretical frameworks such as stakeholder theory, CSR, stakeholder salience, and institutional theory, highlighting how each organization's missions fundamentally influences stakeholder management approaches. That is all from me, and thank you very much. And this is my reference list. Thank you.